I was 16 years old, I gave my granddad $500 and bought his '59 Chevy pickup truck. He had it out in the middle of western Kansas. He had a furniture store out there, and this truck said, "Brown's Furniture and Appliances, Meade, Kansas, home of the very best," on the side, on both sides, driver's side and passenger side, written in white cursive letters on the door. And we painted over it, you know, because since I didn't work at Brown's Furniture, I didn't want that on the side of my truck, and we painted over it, but it was a wrong color paint. It was like orange and a red truck, and then you could still see Brown's Furniture underneath the paint that didn't match the truck. But I was only 16, so he said it'd be all right, and he sent me on my way with his truck. But man, I had so many good times in that truck. I drove it all over the country. I had it in all the bands I was in. Junior high school and high school, I went on the road up to Colorado with it, and I took it out to Phoenix, Arizona, and played out there in a club for a while, and I went up to visit my folks in Pennsylvania one time. I had a lot of problems with it. It was a good truck, but it did have some problems, and one of the problems was that I didn't have the money to fix it up at the time, and the transmission was going out on it. It was one of those old 3 on the tree transmissions, and it wouldn't stay in third gear. It kept jumping out of third gear, and I had to drive all the way from Tulsa to Pennsylvania. So I got one of these big rubber bungee cords that you used to tie books down on the back of a motorcycle or a bicycle, and I'd shift into third gear, and then I'd slap that bungee cord up under the seat, and then I'd slap it up on the gear shift lever, which worked for about 150 miles, and then it started yanking that thing out and pulling it back in again, and it was really starting to tear up my transmission, and I said, this can't carry on like this. I drove about 200 miles a second gear, but I could only get up to about 30 miles an hour, and I said, you know, Pennsylvania's a long way away, and 30 miles an hour is not going to cut it. So I finally pulled over in this little town, and it is in Arkansas. I pulled over in this little town, went into a hardware store, and got a turnbuckle, and a turnbuckle is like a couple of big chains and some hooks and a big screw thing in the middle, and I'd get up to third gear, I'd shift into third gear, and I'd hook that deal under the seat, I'd hook it over the shift lever, and I'd screw that screw down until it was tight, and I'd hold it in there just as tight as it'd go, and I'd just drive that truck until I was sitting on empty. Then I'd undo that thing, pull in, and get more gas.